Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. Tonight, an extra show for you. Digital ID cards. They're not going to stop illegal migration. But again, Starmer is pushing them today. The only way to stop the small boats is to deter, detain, and deport. And in this broadcast, I'll show you how they can do that. And I'll tell you why your government isn't doing that. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. Let me ask you a simple question. Are you sick to death of being lied to? Because I am. I'm sick to the back teeth of it. Whoever's in government, but particularly slippery Starmer. And you should be too. The latest wizard wheeze, he's trying to make us take up digital ID cards to stop the illegals, to stop the boats. I'm telling you now, put it in your diaries, digital ID cards will not stop not one small boat, not one dinghy, not one illegal crossing, not one flip-flop warrior landing at Dover, not one sex monster who wants to rape our girls. Anybody tells you anything different is either stupid or taking you for a fool. Because while you're told, you and me, that we need more checks, more ID, it'll make it easier for us, there'll be more control over your life and my life, the people smugglers and the flip-flop warriors will still keep coming. They've basically got a taxi service running across the channel. Okay, there haven't been any small boats over the last few weeks. Why? Oh, could it be the weather? I think it probably is. As soon as the weather changes, because the weather is the only deterrent at the moment, it's a bit like the police. When you talk to them and you say, how do you stop riots? And they say, you pray for rain. It's the same thing here. They've stopped coming because it's too bloody rough. But let me tell you, as soon as there's a gap in the weather, they'll be back because they know this country, the United Kingdom, Great Britain, has no deterrence, no detention really, and no deportation. You think I'm lying? What about the bloke in Epping who they put in prison? He was meant to be deported. They just let him go. It's madness. It's surrender. And let me tell you today, there's a story in many of the papers, but I saw it particularly in The Sun, where they're saying those two Afghan animals who are living in luxury now in a youth custody centre where they've got their own cell, they've got their own ensuite toilet and shower, each one of them. They're not sharing a cell. Each one's got their own. They've got a desk. They've got their bed. And how about this? They've got mobile phones whilst they're locked up for raping a 15-year-old girl in Leamington Spa. Oh, that's going to be a big deterrence to any other sex monster. Let me tell you the other part about that story as well. When they were in Coventry Magistrates, before they were committed to the Crown Court in Warwick, where, of course, they got their sentence the other day, they were still allowed to roam. They were allowed to still go to that park where they'd raped that 15-year-old girl that could have been your daughter. How is that justice? Why weren't they banged up straight away until the trial? Did they rape anybody else in the meantime? I don't know, and nor do you. And if you think that's bad, let me tell you another story that's in all the papers today. Basically, you know, when they apply for their asylum, and they can apply many times, 3, 4, 5 times. There was a bloke today, they illustrated in the newspapers, 2015 he arrived. He still hasn't been deported. But when they decide you failed, they just tell you. And they expect you to just leave the hotel. Well, they do leave the hotel, but they don't go to Dover. They do not pass go and pick up any more benefits. No, they're straight off into the black economy. It's an absolute joke. We don't detain them, we don't deter them, and we don't deport them. Meanwhile, it's your daughters, your mums, your sisters getting raped and attacked. I'm not saying all of them are like, I always have to do the public service announcement. Of course, it's not all of them, but it only needs to be one, or in this case, in Leamington, two. But can you believe they allowed them to still go to the park? Bloody crazy. If you want to comment, start commenting now. I'm not going to be here too long. It is Friday evening, and this is an extra show. This is the Jon Gaunt podcast. I hope you'll join in. Please press that like button if you're enjoying what I'm talking about so far, or you're finding it interesting. So like I say, it's madness. It's not just madness, it's surrender. It's not just Keir Starmer on my picture today who's drowning. It's all of us. And I'm coming to the conclusion he doesn't give a shit. He wants us to be flooded with these illegals. Otherwise, he'd sort it out. Because if you let people in illegally, and many of these people, like the rapist in Leamington Spa, who raped the 15-year-old little girl, he'd been to 3 or 4 other countries in Europe and lived there for months. He then decided, I think I fancy having some time in the United Kingdom. He made 3 attempts to get over the channel and failed. On the 4th one, he got in, and then he applied for asylum. Why did he have to apply for asylum? He was in France, he was in Spain, he was in Italy. Last time I looked, these are all safe countries. They're taking the mickey. That's why. So we let people in illegally, we house them, we give them new flip-flops, or probably Adidas trainers, we feed them, we put them up in 4-star hotels, we let them come and go whenever they fancy, we don't lock them up. Even now when he's talking about moving them to army camps, he's not talking about locking them in, is he? So if you do all of that, what's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. The numbers are going to keep going up. You guarantee more boats tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Now, your uber liberals would say, well, that's compassion. They're fleeing persecution. 95% of them aren't, but it's not compassion anyway. It's an invitation. You could even say it's an invitation to their death because some of them are dying in the channel. How does that fit in to their conscience? Nigel Farage is constantly saying you've got to stop the boats. Now the Tories are saying the same. And I'm afraid, well, I'm not afraid. They are right. 100% right. Starmer doesn't even use the word illegal. He calls it irregular. Irregular immigration. Well, Sir Keir, was it an irregular rape of a 15-year-old girl in Leamington? Was that irregular? I think it was, rather. Well, tonight, as you can tell, I'm angry, and I'm done with the excuses. I'm done with all this bullshit about technical gimmicks, and I'm done with cowardice of our political elite. You will never stop the small boats with digital ID cards. What they're doing here is the classic example. All governments do it. Instead of focusing on the criminals, which, let me remind you, are the illegal migrants like the rapists who have come in and probably terrorists as well, they're the people who have broken the law. But what they do is they clamp down on everybody else. The decent, the silent majority, the Brits, the people who like their flag, the people who adore this great country of ours. They want to survey you and where you're going and what you're doing and what you're spending your money on. So they're using this as an excuse to push digital ID cards. We've got to resist this with the last breath in our bodies. And we've got to say, we're not the bloody enemy. The enemy is these illegal migrants. Every one of them has broken the law by coming into our country without permission, even if they're fleeing persecution. And the only way to stop that is with enforcement, with a backbone, which of course Sir Keir Starmer hasn't got, and severe consequences. This is a live show. It's bloody angry. And I want to make the political class uncomfortable. because they've earned it. But before we go on to all of that, let me tell you what I would do tomorrow. And I've told you before, we close the hotels. We close the houses of multiple occupancy or whatever they're called. We put them all in army camps, in tents. We lock the gates. They are not allowed out. Don't like it? Go home. Don't know where you come from? Haven't got a passport? Well, I'll tell you where you're going. You're going to Estonia or somewhere else, and we're going to process you there, and it will take some time. Alternatively, Stelios, here's the EasyJet flight. Now, fuck off, right? That's the choice. Stop all this appeals when it's obvious they're economic migrants. See, because the other game they play, they know that as soon as the flip-flop hits the sand, they've got to say they're claiming asylum. Then we have to treat them as asylum seekers because of the ECHR and because of human rights. Well, I say, well, rip all that up. Just ignore it. Just do what Donald Trump would do. Just do what Poland has done. Do what Hungary does. Spain's doing. Spain said, Greece, we're not letting you come to the Greek islands anymore. If you do, we'll deport you straight away or we'll put you in prison. It's time for Britain to get tough. And if Britain doesn't get tough, and if Starmer doesn't want to do this, you've got to ask why. Why? Why doesn't he want to do it? Why is he allowing this to happen? I've told you this before. I do think they want an underclass. I do think they want a situation where there's a bogeyman. I certainly think that's what the Conservatives were doing, not dealing with the backlog, creating a backlog. So that's what I think, but I want to know what you think. I say the only way to stop this and stop it quickly now is to deter, detain. So you deter them by saying it's not El Dorado anymore. You detain them as soon as they hit the beach in harsh, pretty harsh conditions, certainly not 4-star Hilton hotels, and you deport as quickly as possible. Get rid of all the appeals and all the rest of it. Get them out of our country. Because I keep asking you this question. Keir Starmer won't answer it. How many girls have to be raped? How many people have to be murdered before he gets a grip? Are you with me or against me? And is it being used as a way of us all having digital ID? Is that the latest game? Very quiet on the comments. I know it's an extra show, but spread the word I'm here. If you like what I'm doing, press the like button. Got about 8 of those so far. Could do with a load more. If you wish to donate, press the $ or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. It is the Jon Gaunt Show, and I'm here for about half an hour. It's a short one tonight. If you want to join in, get in now. Let's take some comments straight away. Den Spinks. Hello, Don. Den. Good evening, John. I think those brave men who are going to France are doing far more than the government. You're talking about the guys who are going over there and slashing the dinghies. I'm a bit conflicted on that. I think it's good on one level, but of course I can't possibly condone it, breaking the law. You know what I mean? But it's not going to be the long-term solution, is it? We vote for a government. The government should do what we, the people, want. And they're clearly completely ignoring the people. What's your view on that? How do we make them do it? Why doesn't Starmer want to get on top of it? Let's have some opinions. Hi, John. One criminal mind to many isn't to me. One criminal mind to me isn't it time we learned that this government wants all this chaos. Oh, I understand. They, not us, know why. Okay, David. So you think it is like a conspiracy? They're quite happy to do that. All this, what you mean, won't change nothing. Why? The government don't want to. Simple as that, John. David, try to slow down. I know you're excited. Try to slow down when you're writing your comments because it's really hard to interpret what you're trying to say and get over what you want to say to all the other people watching and listening. Maybe he's right, though. It would appear that this is by design. Flood the country with these illegal migrants. Maybe he thinks I've got another 4 years. Doesn't really matter. by the time I stand for an election again, or maybe he's even taken a view now, like I've said before, he knows he's not going to get elected again. Let's have your opinion. If you want to join in, if you've never seen my show before, it's the Jon Gaunt Show. Basically, I come on here every... when do I come on? I come on normally at 6, Monday to Thursday. I'm doing an extra little bit show tonight. So I sat there getting frustrated this afternoon, watching all this rubbish about ID cards. And I just think sometimes the government think we're thick. They think we're stupid, that we're just going to take this. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's get ID cards. Then we can check whether they should be in the country or not. It's not really for that, is it? Because I'm telling you straight, digital ID cards won't stop a single small boat crossing the channel, not one. And I've got to admit, I've changed my mind on this. I used to be in favour of ID cards, along the line of, well, if you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to worry about. I don't take that view anymore. It's mostly post-COVID. I agreed with a lot of the COVID restrictions. I certainly think the vaccination was a good thing. I mean, I know some people have been injured, and we were always told that. I don't want to get into a COVID discussion, by the way. However, I don't agree with governments using all this power, because once they take the power, they never give you back. It's a bit like a chip shop. I remember when there was a potato shortage, the price of chips went through the roof. They never came back down again, did they? It's that kind of philosophy with the government. Once you give government more power over your life, they'll never give it up. Because remember the kind of people who become MPs or councillors, they're the kind of kids at school who you wouldn't have anything to do with, or you'd beat up, or you'd bully. I'm just being straight with you. And they get power, and then they love it, don't they? And what they then love doing is getting even more power. So they grant each other more power all the time. It's a bit like the honours system. I was talking about that on my podcast yesterday. When I'm saying you got to get rid of the House of Lords, no point in getting rid of the House of Lords unless you get rid of all the knights and the dames and all the rest of it, and the OBEs and the MBEs. Otherwise, you'll still have this system where people know if they brown nose enough, they get a medal. And that medal then puts them up the social ladder. And then once they've got the MBE, maybe they'll get an OBE, maybe they'll get knighted. And that's how you end up with this bunch of useless idiots, spanners, in the upper echelons of society. Oh, who should we get to be on that committee? I know. Sir Lick My Arse, so and so. That's what's wrong with our society. It's not based on merit. It isn't. Look at the crap civil servants who have just got honours with Starmer. And it's not just Starmer. It's everybody once they get to power. He's a knight himself, Sir Keir Starmer. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Do you understand how this works? And they don't listen to us, the ordinary people. And what they want to do with the ordinary people is suppress them. That's why this ID card has come up. And whose idea is the ID card? Tony Blair, the ultimate control freak. So while you're being told you need more paperwork, more surveillance, more control, that these people are in our country and they're somehow undermining our country. And I guess I do it myself by talking about those two Afghans who raped that little 15-year-old girl. If you're not careful, you take your eye off the ball and you think they're all the sex offenders, they're the rapists, when obviously they're not. As you're told constantly by the uber liberals, most child abuse happens in the home, and most of it is on white girls by white men. Yes, because the whites are the majority in the country. We all know that. But, this is the problem. So I can see why a government would like this. Oh, we're doing something. They're doing nothing. It's about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. If we started sending videos out, news clips of people as, come on then, in you come on the dinghy. As soon as they get off the dinghy, they go down that gangplank, don't they? And they have to give back their life jackets, and then they get closed and they get put on a coach. If instead of getting on a coach, they just go down another gangplank and they end up on another boat or an aeroplane, and it's bye, deported immediately. Why are we allowing them to claim asylum when every Tom, Dick, and Abdul knows the majority are not fleeing persecution or torture? That's just obvious. I believe in well-controlled, managed immigration. Why should these people be able to jump the queue by getting on a boat? Now, that's before I remind you that yesterday I brought you the news that they're now smuggling drugs in. They're swallowing Class A drugs surrounded with plastic or often in rubber condoms and then shitting them out when they get to this side of the channel and handing them over to the drug dealer. They get a cut price on the channel crossing if they do that. We don't know if any terrorists have come in, do we? We just don't know. And as I keep saying, let's go back to Keir Starmer. If Keir Starmer wants to call me a racist for anything I'm saying, Keir, just one question. Can you tell me just one person in that dinghy that's just arrived today with 80 people in it? Do you know who he is, where he's from, what his family background is, if that's his name? Look at the two Afghans in Leamington. They had to do some kind of special medical surveys to try and ascertain what age they are. What about the one who's in the papers today? Every question they asked him, he said, no comment. How old are you? No comment. Where are you from? No comment. What is going on? What is going on? The only way to stop this is to deter, detain, and deport. The D's. Are you with me or against me? Let's get some more comments and see what's happening. Where are we? Richard Pope. Good evening, John. We're being taken for mugs. You're right. And we're the scapegoats. The proposed ID cards are proof. Yes, they are, Richard, because the next demo, they'll be asking for your ID cards. And once they've got that, that's how they'll prosecute you. There's a thing today. You know, remember Tommy Robinson's march, Unite the Kingdom, whatever it was called? The Metropolitan Police are still asking for information on individuals. They put up a load of photos on the internet today. That woman who, Kelly, who pushes for women's rights against trans rights, she basically just answers them, fuck off, right? Which I thought, well, good on you. Good on you. They always target the decent, silent majority. Why? Because we're easy money. Why do you think motorists are always attacked? Easy money. Easy to do someone. I'm not saying it's right, and I certainly don't condone drink driving or speeding and all the rest of it. But it's much easier to do somebody driving at 35 in a 30 or somebody going through a ULIS and not paying the money than it is getting a real criminal. Or have I got that wrong? I don't think I have. I'd like your views. Gary Munnery, thank you, my friend. He's just donated there. £4.99, a fiver on YouTube. Gary, thank you for your contribution. Every contribution helps to expand the shows and make the shows keep going. So thank you for that. That's Gary Munnery. If you want to do it, just press the little dollar sign. I'm not here long tonight. I've got to tell you, this is a short show. The boat people don't carry IDs, as Den Spinks. They dump it in the sea. You are absolutely right. And that's the other thing that sticks in my craw. No ID, no entry. End of story. I did think about tonight having a headline saying, let's just get rid of passport control. Because I know the next time I go abroad, I'm going to get well pissed off. If I come back to Luton Airport, hold on a minute. If I come back to Luton Airport, Stansted, wherever it is I land, Heathrow, and I'm in that massive long queue to get back into my country, right? And then I'll be thinking, well, I should have just come on a dinghy. We make that joke all the time at the moment, don't we? It's ridiculous that we're in this situation. And what a vote winner it would be if we had a politician who was in power. I mean, I know Nigel Farage is saying it, Kemi's beginning to say it, but somebody who was in power. I mean, overnight, well, maybe not Starmer, but we would start to think Starmer was the right guy to lead us. It's not inhumane to say we're not going to let illegals into our country. That is not inhumane. It's not inhumane to say, if you want to come and live in the greatest country in the world, Great Britain, you will tell us who you are, you'll tell us where you're from, and we'll be able to investigate you and check you're right. Could you imagine Donald Trump being told, oh, you can't do that, Donald? Well, you're not coming to America then. You're not coming to Britain. The British passport is revered around the world. We give them out as if they're Green Shield stamps books. That's showing my age. We shouldn't do it, should we? So people who have gone through the right procedure, they're in a queue, and eventually they get in or they don't get in. People fleeing persecution, we'll always check them out. The Ukrainians, look what we've done for them. The Hong Kong, look what we've done there. Look what we did with the Ugandan Asians. You can go all the way back through our history, even to the Huguenots. We've always been a safe sanctuary. Why are we now abandoning the rules and just letting somebody in flip-flops who manages to get to Dover? Well, they don't even have to get to Dover now. They get picked up in the Channel, don't they? It's madness. And we don't know who they are. Now, if there hadn't been a single rape, not one sexual assault, not one lady stabbed 19 times in the head in Warsaw at a train station, one dog walker, innocent man, stabbed to death by a mad Afghani in the street as he walks his dog, of not one 15-year-old girl in a park in Leamington raped by two Afghanis who had come in on a boat only 2 or 3 weeks previous. If there hadn't been any of that, perhaps the Liberals would have an argument. But there's no argument when there's all this. Epping, the Bell Hotel, those brave women who said, we don't want these people living near us. Racist. No. They knew their girls were getting abuse on the way to school. They don't want it. And also we've got to grasp the reality. Some of these cultures where they're coming from, they're backward when it comes to sexual equality and rights. I don't mean they're thick. I mean they're backward. They're not as developed as us in terms of our views. That's not a black or white issue, by the way. It's because they're black, because we've got lots of black people in Britain who understand the idea that women are equal to men. We just can't have a situation where they see a woman and think, oh, she's hardly got any clothes on. I mean, I went to Morocco. What a shit, rat-infested, filthy, squalid hole that is. I was living in one of the best villas in Morocco, right? I went to that Casbah. I might rock the Casbah. I'd bomb the bloody Casbah. My girls were having their asses touched up all the time. It felt horrible for them. But we were in their country, so we have to decide we won't ever go there again. Why are we importing that filth here? Why are we saying, oh, yeah, making excuses for it? No. It's like have you been to any public toilets where they say, don't stand on the seats to have a crap? Have you seen that? I work for a food company doing delivery, because I've had no money. I'll tell you straight, right? They had signs in the toilet saying, don't stand on the seats, because evidently they don't like putting their bare asses on a toilet seat. They think that's dirty. Like they use the hose pipe. If you're going to go to India, they use that hose pipe. It's not a bad thing, that. But we shouldn't be making concessions like that and having signs like that, should we? It's not the way we do it. I remember when I went to Bloin when I worked in Tesco's 30, 40 years ago. And we got off. We didn't get much further than the port, to be honest. I think we got arrested. But anyway, we got off and we went to the toilet. And I had Tony Cook went to have a crap. And he came out. He said, somebody's nicked the toilet. We said, what are you on about? He said, there's no toilet in there. Go and have a look. So we went in. And he was right. There was just two footprints. It was the French way in those days. But that was their culture. Didn't have a crap for a weekend. But I'm trying to get at. It's just, I just think this is all gone too far. Dump them in the frigging sea. I think he's talking about ID cards. Hi, John. Starmer never gave a shit about our kids and women. No, I don't think he does, Craig. That's what is winding me up. I keep saying it's they're playing Russian roulette with our children, and they are. John, showing this welcoming migrants thing makes Labour look good to other countries on the world stage. That means more to Starmer than what the British people have to say. David, now you're making sense. That's a very good point indeed. Yeah, he likes to strut about and Britain's this, Britain's leading the way, we're progressive. Oh, have you heard about my alliance of the willing? The alliance of the fucking useless is what I call it, because he can't do anything. Oh, I'm going to sort out the Ukraine. No, you're not. Not without Donald Trump, you aren't. So you say whatever you want, Starmer. Trump must go to bed laughing, mustn't he? Starmer thinks he can do this. Well, not if I don't want him to, he won't. I used to have a professor when I did study drama at university. His name was Jocelyn Powell. He was the campest thing you've ever seen on two legs. Talking of which, what a shame that Stanley Baxter, well, he's 99, but Stanley Baxter died today. One of our greatest ever performers. I would go so far as to say the greatest panto dame ever. And his comedy show when I was growing up in the 60s, 70s and early 80s, out of this world. Out of this world. I saw him in panto 3 times in Glasgow. And, well, I've never seen anybody do panto better than him. Never. And the legs on, he was about 70-something then, the legs on the man. And the worst thing about Stanley, he lived with his wife for 40-odd years, but he was gay. And he always knew he was gay, but he couldn't admit it because in those days, people were anti-gays. That's horrid, isn't it? To think that we were like that only recently. That's just nonsense. This guy was a comic genius. And I was reading his obituaries as they came up on the internet. So I'm going off the subject a minute. But they were going on about how great he was. And they talked about the fact that he lived with his wife and she died a few years ago. But he also, they did recognise his lover, his male lover. And he died about 10 years ago or something. But it was just a sign of a different time. How did I get onto that? I can't remember. But anyway, how did I get on to Stanley Baxter? Anyway, somebody will remind me in a minute. Yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back because there was a big political point I was going to make underneath it all, which I've now forgotten completely. Right, if you want to comment, let's take some more comments. Let's carry on moving on. They're flying them in during the night, and it's just not just the boats. That's the distraction. It's far worse. Yeah, they are flying in Afghans. You're right. And they have covered that up. You're absolutely right. And did you know they caught some in the back of a lorry? You know, they've been going on about, oh, they're not coming in lorries anymore. They closed down a motorway yesterday. 28 of them got out the back of a lorry. Listen, I don't blame anybody wanting to get here to improve their life. That's why I say the first D has to be deter. We have to say it's not a great life. If you want to come here, you're going to have to work and you're going to have to work hard and da-da-da-da-da. The second one is to detain them. So if you dare to come in without getting the right permission, we're going to get rid of you straight away. We're going to make your life uncomfortable. Do you remember when Theresa May had those big signs on the back of vans saying, we're looking for illegals? And everyone said, oh, she's creating a hostile environment. Well, I was on BBC London, I think, at the time, and I said, too fucking right she is. There should be a hostile environment to people who have come in illegally because they're doing that to all of us. Starmer just doesn't seem to affect him. I don't know. Sheila, my daughter, told me they're flying them in. Also, keep up the good work, John. I shall try, my friend. That's Patriot Dan. If you want to donate, by the way, just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt and donate anything that you can. It all helps to keep these things going. Or press the $sign. Let's see if we can get some donations on here. Have a great weekend, John, and thank you. Well, thank you very much, Den. Thanks for joining me. Jack Jones, these people know they can get away without being arrested or charged. Of course they do. That's how they sell it to get people to get in the boats. Chances of getting caught, 1,000,000 to 1. What's that? I often sing that song. The chances of anyone coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, they said. But still they come. Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds. I don't really like Jeff Wayne's music, but I was working in Boots. I'll tell you how long ago that was. It was when Boots had a record department. I worked down there. Oh, yeah, I did. In Corporation Street, bottom of the precinct. I had an old pinstripe suit that had been my brother's. But you know those pinstripe suits where they don't actually weave the pin into the stripe into the cloth? It must have been painted on the back. There was a big bald patch on the back of mine where there was no pinstripes. Show you how hard I worked. Sitting on my fat lardy arse, probably. Den Spinks, play up Sky Blues. Thrash Bristol City tomorrow. Have a good weekend, and thank you from me too. Thank you. Yeah, Sky Blues tomorrow. That's going to be a big game. Both the political and media establishment have utter disdain for the native-born British people, John. Yeah, not only native-born, but people who've been here for years. People who came in the right way. They don't like them either. They think that they're scum of the earth. That's why they call us far right. The government are breaking their own laws and creating new laws for us and them. They're creating the problem. Jack Jones, you are correct. Here she is, Jackie Ward. Hello, Jackie. The law-abiding people of this country will always be taken advantage of by governments because we are easy pickings. It's kind of what I was saying about drivers. You're right, Jackie. The ID card will make it even easier for us to be taken advantage of. Meanwhile, the illegals continue to be welcomed with open arms. It makes me so angry, John. Any Prime Minister of this country should be putting us first. If they can't, they're not fit to be in that position. Exactly. Exactly. It's like Trump. Trump now wants to... Have you seen the latest thing? Trump fancies being the president of Europe. I wouldn't put it past him happening. He's evidently trying to persuade 4 other European countries, Italy, Germany, is it Spain? Anyway, to basically break away like we did. So they get control of their countries again. Now, of course, the uber liberal press, the BBC, are slagging him for this. They're saying it's because he wants to get all the power for himself. Well, I don't know about anybody else. I'd much prefer Trump to be in charge than Starmer. And certainly the EU. Oh, and what about the latest? Did you know the Russians eat their babies? Oh, they do. Evidently, we're on the verge of a war with Russia. What a load of cobblers. Where's that come from? Is that for us to take our eyes off? Eyes away from Dover. It's Russia who's the enemy. Yeah, they're invading us, aren't they? It's just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And I see the media first thing this morning, the lame stream. They were taking it. Oh, yeah, head of MFI. It's what he reckoned. I tell you what, the head of MFI might do a better job than the head of MI5. That's as far as I can see. Head of fucking DFS would probably do a better job. I don't trust these people. Do you? But evidently, yeah, we're going to go to war with Russia. That's on the way to going to war with China about Taiwan. Where do they make this rubbish? And in the old days, they might have got away with it. Well, they did, didn't they, with Alistair Campbell and Tony Blair, when he told us all that Saddam had the weapons of mass destruction. And I remember the headline in London. I was working in London at the time. I think we had 40 minutes till death or something. I was a mug. I believed them. I believed in that war. I was an idiot. Absolute idiot. But I ain't going to get conned again. Or as the Pistols would say, ever got the feeling you were cheated? The tyrant dictator doesn't like to be told. I sent told that's Starmer all over. Maybe the migrants are all coming to fight Russia, said Sansom Kerr. I like your style. I think you'll like your style. Craig Mason says, I think they could be bringing in weapons. Well, there's been reports that they are. There's been reports that that's what's happening. My first record player was from Radio Rentals, says Tommy Mason. What are you talking about? Oh, because I used to work in Boots. Yeah, Radio Rentals. We had a telly from there. Do you remember when you used to have tellies and they used to go on the blink and you repaired them? Now you just chuck them out, don't you? We live in this. I want to do a podcast about this disposable society. But yeah, Radio Rentals. Rumbelows, that was the other one, wasn't it? That's disappeared as well. Our enemy, says Jack Jones, is not with Russia. Our enemy is within. Yeah, a lot of it's in number 10 Downing Street, as far as I can see, and always has been, mate. It's us and them. I find it amazing, Jack, that they're bringing out the Russian card. I just find that amazing. I would have said that China's a bit more of a worry to us, especially as we're now allowing them to build this embassy right on top of where we send all our vital. You couldn't make this up, could you? Our vital communications. Are you not beginning to wonder why we keep having internet outages? Have you not wondered about that? Or where these drones are coming from? Or why airports keep getting closed down? And then the other day, they told anybody in the army not to say anything sensitive in a car. I wonder why that would be. Oh, it wouldn't be because most of the audio equipment in the car and on your mobile phones is made in. It's not Russia, is it? Oh, no. Where is it? Ooh, scratch my head. It's China. I think China's the threat, if there's any threat at all. And then we've got people like Barry Gardner, the MP, who's never satisfactorily explained his relationship with the Chinese. I find it all bizarre. I find it all bonkers. I like this from Jack Jones. You've not been on before. You can come on again, mate. We should be putting our soldiers in the motels and putting our new guests in the military. 100%. That's quite a nice concept. Like it. Thank you. All right. I'm going to stop there now. Listen, I've got to go because I'm meeting my mates at 6. Thank you very much indeed for joining in. It was just a little extra one. I just wanted to get it off my chest. I just think we're getting played. We're literally getting played every which way at the moment. And when they started talking about Russia, then, well, at the moment, we've got Russia. They're a threat. China, sometimes if it suits them. The flu pandemic. Lots of people have got flu, and I'm not belittling this. I think we should be very careful. I accept that. But I'm not sure, should it be the lead story on the telly at the moment? I'm more concerned about the flip-flop warriors myself. And have you noticed that it's all gone quiet? Have you noticed how Starmer hasn't made any proclamations about it? Anyway, I've got me 3 red hearts from Jackie Ward. Nigel says, enjoy your beer. I shall try, my friend. David Hotspur, he's just giving me a bit more nostalgia, which is nice. John, do you remember 10p's when you put TVs, when you put 10p for 5 minutes to help to pay for the rental? I do, actually. We had one of them. Do you remember also when they came around, you knocked on your front door and said, do you want a colour telly? I remember my dad saying, yeah, I'll have one. And they weren't. They were a screen, which you kind of locked onto the front of the telly. And it had a kind of green and a red wash. Didn't make it a colour telly at all. But loads of people in Bulwer Road in Radford bought one because they thought it was actually a colour telly. What about 3D TV when Sky brought that out? I had one of them to watch football. It's rubbish. It was absolutely abysmal. We should do a nostalgia show where we just talk about nonsense like this. I could be the new Danny Baker. What do you reckon? Anyway, I'm back on, when am I back? Monday, definitely at 6 o'clock, but I'll probably be here Sunday afternoon as well, because I do get a bit frustrated. And tomorrow I'm doing nothing. Day off. Football, day off. And in fact, Lisa is not here tomorrow, so I'm going to be home alone. I shall have a good night. I shall go out and see my mates. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for indulging me. Oh, curved screens. That's another one, says Richard Pope. You're right. There's been loads of these things. People knock on your door. Do you want to buy this? It's the latest. Anyway, I remember Martin Williams. He was the first person to have a colour telly. Martin and his dad. I think his dad was called Harold. Martin was a great guy. And he lived in Middlemarch Road. Anyway, he went around his house to watch it. He said, oh, the snooker's on. But it was pot black and it was still in black and white. Do you remember when we watched pot black? We watched snooker in black and white. Crazy world. I'm loving the darts. Anyway, shut up, John. You got to go. Got to get the beers in. I'll see you Sunday afternoon at some point, normally about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'll let you know. Best way to find out when I'm doing these shows is go to YouTube now and subscribe to Jon Gaunt TV. It's free, completely free. If you go there, that's where you'll find all the archive, posh word for all the shows. It's also where you can donate if you'd like to donate some money by clicking the padlock, the $sign. Padlock, that's on my wallet. You can also watch all the old shows. And don't forget, we also do these, we put them into, what do you call it? podcasts, so you can also listen to them on audio when you're walking the dog or whatever. I think I've done all the adverts now. Anyway, so that's it. That's the best way to keep in touch with what I'm doing, and also you can contact me there. So I'll see you Sunday and definitely on Monday. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug, and don't forget to tell them you love them. Thanks a lot. Bye.